Welcome to the BAM Sports Show.
I carefully place all of it in various trash cans around.
Any other headlines you guys are interested in tomorrow?
I'll poop in a urinal.
It's going to be a wet one.
He shoots. He scores. You suck.
Rick's wife is going to make him sleep in the bathroom tub tonight.
A dark horse candidate of where I may eventually want to end up living for good.
Welcome to a brand new sports show experience coming through your wavelengths. Let's get ready to have some fun. So sit back, crack open a drink, and let's talk some sports.
And let's talk some sports indeed. Welcome to the BAM Sports Show. I'm your host, Blake. It is Friday, February 3rd. I'm joined, as always, with the boys. We got the dude down in Jacksonville.
What up?
Keith, my guy.
What up?
And we're going to have to change Leather Danny's name to Robot Danny unless he has fixed his Wi-Fi in the intro time.
I don't think he has.
And it appears he has
I'm going to say not so much.
So
Yeah.
we've got a great show for you guys tonight. We've got some pretty cool stuff to roll out and to kind of talk about. We do have a guest this evening. David Small is joining us from the BattleBots. Yes, those badass little fucking things that blow each other up and just literally just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Danny's attempting to jump into the conversation, and I can hear it, but it's just not working. So, Danny, just keep smoking that cigar and enjoying that drink, my guy, and we'll carry this one tonight, my guy. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and welcome to the BAM Sports Show, David Small.
Hi.
David, what's up, man?
Yo, David.
Well, thanks for having me.
Welcome, my friend. Welcome. So, first of all, I apologize that our robot did not warn you what you were getting yourself into this evening.
Oh, it's fine. It's more fun this way.
But I can assure you that I can't really assure you, but I don't think anyone will ask you if they ever farted or shit their pants in the middle of a match because Ryan is not here tonight. So we have that working for us.
Okay. I can say not to my knowledge, but you never know.
It's probably not something you admit. So, David, tell us a little bit about BattleBots, how you got into it. I mean, I've got a ton of questions. I'm sure the other two, maybe Robot 3 if Danny shows up. So, David, kind of tell us a little bit about BattleBots and how you got into it and all the fun stuff.
Sure. So, BattleBots is a TV show based off of the combat robot hobby. It's been around for decades and decades now. I first got into it actually back in 1999 when I was only 6 or 7 years old. My dad brought home a VHS tape of it, and ever since that I was hooked on it. It's something that inspired my engineering path going forward. I wanted to build Lego robots that fought each other, and then eventually I got old enough to start making my own, and did a event with my dad in 2001 or 2002. Then the show kind of died off. The hobby kind of died with it, especially in Arizona. And then it wasn't until 2016 when I did an event in Colorado with a little 1-pound robot that I started to get hooked on it again. And I started to meet people who would eventually be my teammates on the Malice BattleBot. And that's how I got into the show for the first time. Then after being on their team for 2 years, I split off to do Banshee, my own robot. So that's kind of my personal story with the hobby/show.
Wow.
That's I just remember
cool.
being a kid and getting a Christmas
I don't know
toy. Am I lagging now?
if you can-
'Cause I feel like I'm lagging. What, Danny?
Oh, do I get to jump in? I don't know if you can hear me or not. My internet is shitty. This is the time I've wanted to have you on for like a couple weeks now. I'm finally excited you're here. Do you have? I heard somewhere that you have the smallest flamethrower robot in the sport. Is that right?
No, not flamethrower, but it's the smallest full pressure CO2 flipper in the sport. There's a lot of asterisks next to that name, but you've got your those liquid CO2 cartridges that you can use. When that's in its liquid form, it's like 800 psi, something crazy like that. So people have used CO2 in robots before, but to put it in a little robot that's like this big is a pretty big deal because it has to fit in that 3-pound weight limit. And then to not only do that, but to keep it unregulated. So keep it at its full 800 psi the entire time. That's kind of what makes the robot's name is Kelpie. a big deal because it's this tiny little tiny little baby robot, but it's got 800 pounds of force firing behind it.
So that's probably just launching little fucking robots, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a video on my YouTube channel of it launching cupcakes, and they just stick to the roof of the arena.
And
the owner wasn't too happy about it, but the crowd was. So
that's what's important right there.
Yeah,
making the crowd happy.
David, what's your YouTube channel?
Team Small Robots.
I found it.
And almost all your robots have been flippers, right?
Yeah, flippers are kind of what I specialize in. I do have some other, kinetic energy spinner robots, but flippers are kind of what I'm more known for these days.
Very, very cool.
Almost all your robots have been,
So I'm curious, David, if you could
kind
of break down. We have some folks that are not super familiar with BattleBots. I understand the
probably not going to be able to get a lot of questions in because I'm bad, but
yeah,
continue, Rick.
Sorry. So just some of the nuances as far as like matchmaking is concerned, and things of that nature. Like, do the results of one particular robot fight have any bearing on matchmaking? Moving forward, is it like tournament style? Kind of walk us through like kind of your role in all of that.
Yeah, sure. So one fight is kind of like boxing. It's beat up the other guy as much as possible. If you knock them out, you win automatically. If the match goes the full 3 minutes, then it goes to a judge's decision. The judging criteria is going to be damage, control, and aggression. So you try to keep those 3 categories in mind while you're designing and fighting.
Are they better than NFL refs?
Couldn't tell you.
They can't be any worse, right? Can't be any worse. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. There's, like any other sport, I imagine there's a ton of controversy. There's, sometimes you get a decision and you're like, what were they thinking? And
right. Oh,
fun stuff like that. And then the fans go nuts with it. But
very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So do they probably a very surface level question here, but do you guys have like weight classes, for like the robots that you fight, or is it just like, hey, so long as it meets X, Y, and Z criteria of being a battle bot, it's free reign?
So there are in the hobby level of combat robotics, there's a whole bunch of weight classes from 150 grams. It's like a third of a pound, which actually I have in front of me here. So this is a 150 gram fighting robot.
Oh, wow.
This is like, the size of a burger.
Yeah, and no kidding.
We've got this guy that spins at, 30,000 RPM, something just nuts. And it roofs other robots to the ceiling when it hits.
Whoa,
it's got little slot car wheels. And then
very
the whole thing's
cool.
just 3D printed. So I've made ones this small. There's 1 pound, 3 pound, 12 pound, 30 pound, 60 pound, 120 pound, and then 220 pound, which is a little outdated. And then what BattleBots does is the 250 pound weight class.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said that
if you guys
types of matches.
Can hear me.
Go ahead, Danny.
Go, Danny.
Oh, I get to go. Okay, it's delayed like 6 seconds, so it's okay. I want to ask about your first televised fight back.
Okay.
The first fight always has to be the scariest. Switchback was so last year. It looks way scarier this year. You think back to Switchback, the original one, you might think, and have a pretty an easy match, a decent chance to have a good showing, and then he comes out this year with something crazy looking. Just walk us through from beginning, middle, and after the match, because you didn't win that match, but you looked pretty good, at least the first third or half of it going in there. And so do you walk away from that first match feeling pretty good? Like, hey, because rookie robots, your goals aren't always the same as, guys like Will Bales and everyone who's been there for years. You kind of just want to show up and look, presentable. Walk us through everything with like the fight with Switchback and your takeaway from it, if you could.
Sure. Yeah, so when like the first day of filming, everyone's sitting in the bleachers and they have a guy reading what all the matchups are going to be, and he's being all dramatic and pausing, and it's not even filmed, but we're all like, "Oh, who are we going to fight? Who are we going to fight?" And I heard switchback, and I was like, "Oh, we can take him. That's not too bad of a robot." And someone behind me elbows me, and they're like, "Well, you saw what it looks like now, right?" I was like, "Oh, I don't think I have actually." And so we go to check it out, and we're like, "This is an entirely new, brand new, improved in every
Yeah.
possible way." Kind
Right.
of robot here. So we're like, "All right, this is gonna be a little harder than what we were expecting. It could be worse, they didn't feed us to like
Yeah.
Tombstone or In Game or something like that, so it was manageable, but still a challenge." So. Then there was the whole struggle of getting the robot ready. I built that whole freaking thing in only 2 months, and it was not ready when I drove it to Vegas. So we're all scrambling to get the robot done. They told us a time that it had to be ready by, otherwise we were going to be replaced with one of the alternate competitors. And we had something like 4 minutes left before we were going to be replaced. Like, it was down to the wire.
Wow.
And we got it working, and it was driving, it was flipping, and we're like, "Great, we're good to go." And they're like, "Awesome, you're on deck." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Can I refill the air tanks?" And they're like, "Nope." So
Wow.
it's a pneumatic flipper that uses paintball air tanks to power the weapon, and they wouldn't let us refill, which it's my fault. I'm not blaming them for that, because we should have the robot done. But it was like, all right, we're going in with only a third or half of our air supply, which is why we only get like 2 or 3 pops and then it's done, which was frustrating, because in that fight his arm stopped working. So if we were to get him over one more time, he wouldn't have been able to self-right, and we would have won the fight. So kind of kicking myself for that.
Just
but
one more.
just one more. Yeah, that's all we needed. But after the fight, we lost. But for a new robot that was only built in a few months to not be a meta robot, like because the big spinners are what wins competitions.
Yeah.
I like flippers because they're fun, but to build a non-meta robot in that short amount of time, and to have it drive, to have it flip, and to have it last the full 3 minutes, that was a huge victory in my mind. And I don't think that's too bad for a season starter at all.
No, that was.
Now, how many fights do you have in the season?
So the way the BattleBots format works is you get 4 fights no matter what, or as long as you have a robot that functions, you get 4 fights. We brought 2 Banshees and then spares, so we were set. So you do your 4 fights, and then the selection committee will pick their favorite 32 of those of the entire 50, based off of how many you won, how dominant you were, how much of a spectacle you put on, that sort of thing. With the majority of that weight going into wins. So then you pick the 32 from that, and then the 32 have a single elimination tournament, and whoever wins that wins the giant nut, and it's be the BattleBots champion of the season.
Very cool.
Can we show up and just like face paint and just be yelling, Team Small Robots?
Yeah, dude.
Help sway that selection committee a little bit.
Yep, there were some Banshee signs. There was a cool.
Yeah.
Someone drew the Arizona state and then made that into the Banshee face somehow. It looked really cool.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Some creativity with the signs out there.
Yeah. I'm curious. BattleBots, if I'm not mistaken, I'm only acutely familiar with it. I think it's awesome. But for lack of a better term, BattleBots is essentially like the UFC of like combat robot sports. Am I fair in saying that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. So that being said, I'm curious, is there like a scouting process, where you're doing that stuff in your circuits, where eventually you're offered like a spot on BattleBots, or kind of how does that whole process work out, to where you're kind of working yourself up the ranks, as it were, to get to
basically
BattleBots?
Rick has an RC car that he wants to tape a stapler to, and he wants to know if he can make a run for BattleBots.
Actually, it's a hole puncher.
Oh, sorry, you're correct.
Yeah.
That is better. But so the way you get on BattleBots is they have an application process, and a few months before filming, they'll say, "Hey, fill out this application." It's a lot of questions like, What does your robot look like? Do you have pictures? Do you have CAD files, engineering diagrams, wiring diagrams? They want something. If they accept you, they want you to show up with something and have it actually exist. I hear they get something like 800 or so applications a year, ranging from serious competitors to like some 8-year-old with MS Paint who drew a cool looking happy face thing. And then so stuff like that obviously gets thrown in the trash right away. But then once they narrow it down, they'll say, okay, this person, it's almost like filling out an application for a job. So
Okay.
I've put like, I've been doing this since 2001, been to like 30, 35 events in my life. I've had similar robots like Banshee, like Kelpie, that other flipper, Highlander. Here are some links to some fights it had. Like I've built robots before. I was on Malice. That helps a lot to say you were on BattleBots before. That's obviously a good way to to get on. But stuff like that. You try to impress them. Say this robot's going to be cool. We're going to have a sweet paint job on it. It's going to look like it's screaming when the mouth opens, and the crowd will love it. Blah blah blah. And that's stuff you let them know, and then they liked us. So here we are.
And now you're going to win the whole damn thing.
We'll see.
Poor guy. Never should have let you in, David.
I got. Let me jump in here. I don't know if I'm caught up yet or not.
You're good.
So coming on. All right, we're sound a little better. Thursday coming up. Your fight is going to be aired. Not fighting this Thursday, but your fight with Valkyrie is going to be aired. So you can't really tell us the result or anything right now. Can you tell us the thought process and just the game plan and everything leading up to that fight? Discovery Channel, everyone who's listening.
Yeah. So Valkyrie, I think, they won the award for most destructive robot last year. So we're like, okay, yeah. Now it's time. Now it's time to test the durability. Let's see what happens. Is the robot going to explode or will it hold up? We don't know, and you'll find out February 9th. But we do have multiple configurations for Banshee. So during the switchback fight, we had those 4 fork things to play the ground game and get under him. For Valkyrie, we have a big wedge plow that we put on the front of the robot to shield ourselves from their giant horizontal undercutter. So you'll see the Banshee face kind of hiding behind this solid steel wall to take on Valkyrie. So we get to try on the wedge configuration. And then of course we're going in with full tanks of air this time. But
so we got a question on the channel here. It says, so are there any restrictions for categories of robot weapons like firearms, I'm sure, but anything else, like what's not allowed, what is allowed, what are kind of parameters?
Okay. So actually, since you mentioned firearms, that's most people's first idea is always, just duct tape a gun to it and go ham. I would love to fight a robot with a gun instead of some of these kinetic energy weapons like Tombstone. That's going to do way more damage than a high caliber rifle round will.
Really?
It's insane. Yeah, because like Banshee is made out of 1/4-inch AR-500. That's what target shooting plates are made out of. So the robots are inherently bulletproof right out of the gate. So, yeah, there are projectile weapons allowed. There's a robot named Double Jeopardy that uses an air cannon, something crazy like 4,500 psi, and it blasts a giant 2-inch diameter slug. That thing's pretty neat. It only gets like 2 or 3 shots or something like that, but it's still a cool concept. But yeah, there are plenty of other rules that aren't allowed, or weapon types that aren't allowed, like no EMPs or radio jamming devices. Anything that would make the fight like over instantly and there's no show, that's probably not allowed, because then it's just 3, 2, 1, go, and whoever can turn on their jammer first is the winner. Any liquids aren't allowed, no napalm, but fire is allowed. Stuff that will destroy the arena and everyone watching are probably not allowed. You can't, no grenades or nuclear weapons or anything like that. And then, no comedically staged buckets of water on top of ladders with pull strings aren't allowed either.
Right. Yeah.
But,
okay.
So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask real quick. I'm curious, and I feel like you may have touched on this a little bit earlier. So apologies if you have. But when you are during the matchmaking process, like when it's been determined, like, what your next fight is there any type of, like, I don't want to say, for lack of a better term, training camp, but like, how do you go about practicing against like that, particular type of opponent? Like, how do you simulate, as it were, fighting against like that guy's robot? Is like, there anything that you do to like kind of prepare to like help you practice like defending against like that guy's robots, like weapons or like kind of his typical strategy or things like that? And I know you mentioned like making modifications to your robot like based on opponents, but as far as like the preparation process, other than just a strategic standpoint, is there anything that you do to kind of simulate that opponent?
Basically experience fighting in other weight classes is what prepares you for the bigger weight classes. So like I know from fighting with my little 3-pound robot that if I take a piece of metal and angle it slightly, that's pretty good at blocking against horizontal spinning blades. And even though it's several times bigger, the same principle applies. So you kind of think, oh, if I fought this kind of weapon back in the day during a fight with the little robots, how did that go? What could we do better? How can we adapt what we learned in the little fights to the big fights, basically? Some people, they do go ham with, with their SolidWorks real-time simulations, and they're like, all right, if we calculate the amount of joules that this weapon produces and it hits at this angle and it applies this amount of force to this material we have, what will be the real-time impact fracture through the steel, blah, blah, blah. And there's definitely some merit to that, but I think there's too many variables to just let a computer go nuts and say, this is what's going to happen to your robot. But
Gotcha.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Give one more in before we go.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Robo Games back. Are you competing this year? Nice.
I was signed up with the little robots, and I actually might pull out just because of I've gone to, I think, 4 events in 4 months after BattleBots. So I'm kind of burnt out on travel and money and stuff, and I got to start saving up for Banshee 2. So might not go to Robo Games, but I do go to the Norwalk event in Connecticut, if you've ever heard of that one. I was just there like 4 days ago with my new Beetle weight, and it won. So
hell yeah.
Congratulations
on
the win.
It's closer to Robo Games than it is now, because I used to live in Washington State and go down and compete, like drive down to Robo Games in California. I'm in Ohio now. So Norwalk, and then Pennsylvania's got
Motorama. I'll be going there also in 2 weeks. Yeah,
that's in 2 weeks. Yeah, I can't go. I gotta get a shop built, and so I'm not going to Robo Games this year. But hopefully springtime I'll have a shop, get back to competing again. But
sweet,
hopefully get back into it. I'm going to be. Oh, I want that. Do I got time for one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, we're on time. But I'm like, we're finally talking about BattleBots. Backed up.
You're good.
So, okay. Can BattleBots, from what I've seen, and just the sport itself is a bit of an arms race, because every year there's it's like someone figures something out almost technology was, and then everyone has to do it. When LiPo batteries came in, that was a big thing, more powerful batteries. Now there used to be, brushed motors. Now almost every robot is jumping to brushless drive motors and weapon motors instead of the E-Tech. Right now, I think is the new kind of new toy that everyone's finding out and like jumping in to get on. Like I know, what's his? I can't remember his last name. Kevin, the guy who drives Claw Viper. Magnets are his big thing. He's driving that fast. Is that the new thing now? Or what's the new thing, I should say?
Yeah, I don't think it's magnets. A lot of robots aren't quite dipping their toes into that yet. What I've noticed a lot of robots are adding now if you think of the armor setup on Tantrum or Blip or Claw Viper now or Switchback, is they have a bent piece of metal that goes around, and then they have I think it's like engine shock suspensions that they're using to mount the armor, so that when you get hit, there's that suspension to protect your guts and help absorb a lot of that shock. I think
that's
that style of armor is what a lot of robots are moving towards these days. Yeah, if you go find a picture of Tantrum and then look at Claw Viper and Switchback and Blip now, they all kind of have that same sort of outer ring that's shock mounted to protect from big hits from the outside. I think that's kind of where we're all trying to
that's
build
interesting.
ourselves up to now.
Yeah. Like I've been out for 2 years and that's already like, like brand spanking new to me. So that's cool to hear. All right.
That's awesome. Well, David, do we have a question in the comments?
Oh, yeah, we got one.
Oh, the Houston Texans claim they're going to win the Super Bowl next year. Probably not.
David,
we like your optimism.
On that?
Let's see.
Keith, you're our fact checker.
Switchback just beat me, and Switchback's from Texas, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, we're Team
Good
Banshee
analysis.
on this show, so
We are Team
Yeah.
Banshee.
all right. Well, David, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and jumping on with us and kind of educating
you.
us and the viewers. Don't forget, is what Thursdays on Discovery? Is that right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was gonna say, this Thursday he's fighting, or his fight's gonna fight, or gonna show versus Valkyrie. So tune in this Thursday. Watch Team Banshee. Sorry, I'm promoting your stuff. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm not going to stop you.
So
Deal.
Thursday, Discovery Channel. Also, make sure you guys check out David on YouTube. It looks like it's at Team Small Robots. Make sure we drop the description in the video below. So, David, like I said, we appreciate you so much for hopping on. Good luck on Thursday. Selection committee, select this dude. Don't fuck up.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take this. We'll ride this bracket all the way. We'll ride Banshee all the way to the championship. I don't know if you know this or not, but when we have guests on and they go into a tournament, they come out the champions. It's only been
That's true.
one, but it's undefeated. So
100%.
Nice. All right.
and he's
Thanks
still
for the
and
win,
he is
guys.
still
Yeah.
the champion. He is still the champion to today. So we had a little something to do with it. So all right, David, we appreciate you so much, my friend. Thanks for hopping on. We will see you hopefully back here soon as a champion. You can come on with your trophy.
Yeah,
Or they give you a belt. What do they give you?
You get a giant nut. You just hold it.
Literally just a giant nut?
Yeah.
Like a squirrel
Sounds
nut
like
or a pear nut?
You got to win twice if you want a full pair.
Big old freaking like, oh, that's
But
funny.
it's a hex nut that's like this big or something wild. So
What a perfect spot for his screen to freeze up.
Wow.
I don't even think he knows. I don't even think
And
I
he-
know.
yeah, it's
Did
minus.
He
look
still doesn't know. Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God.
no.
This is bad.
I don't know what he's
No.
saying, but thanks
We
for
lost
having
the leg.
Yep.
Thank you.
Barely.
Well,
I got like 3 of those syllables, but I think he just said, "Can you hear me?" Anyhow, in other news, in the comment section, the Houston Texans say the Texans are closer to competing than most people realize. They have more pieces that people realize as well.
Oh my
Yep.
God. We just lost our host.
I feel. Oh, and we just lost our guest.
yeah, no.
All right.
Just unceremoniously
No.
kicked off our show. All right. If you're still there, David, thanks for coming, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we
You can hear
appreciate
us.
it, buddy.
It
Oh
was
my
fun.
goodness.
And Blake, hey,
Right.
Rick, I think you're the host of the show now, de facto.
I guess I'm the host of
You're
the
the
show
court.
now. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you want to talk about, man? I guess we got to talk about the Texans.
guess we got to talk about the Texans. They say they feel like
Should we all
adding
just-
D'Amico Ryan automatically takes them from a 3-win to a 7 to 8 win team. I mean, I think it's a cool story. I mean, D'Amico Ryan obviously played for the Texans, was a multi-time Pro Bowler. David, you want to stay? I can read you. Thanks for having me. Am I clear to head out? Oh, yep. Okay. Sorry, I got a little bit hung up in the chat there. But no, back to D'Amico Ryan getting hired by the Houston Texans. I think that actually was a pretty cool hire. I mean, he built a phenomenal defense there in San Francisco. It's a cool story, being drafted by the Texans and everything. I think that's pretty great. I think that is a good hire. I don't think it's going to equate to anything close to a Super Bowl championship just yet. There's still a lot of pieces up and down that roster that I feel like have to really improve. The quarterback situation needs to be addressed.
Just saying
They're
in the case that it's done.
what he said.
This is what it was like with you, Danny. Just FYI.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
I know.
Ah.
Hi, Blake.
I think that comment ruined my internet. That comment came in my Wi-Fi was like, "Yeah, bro, we're not putting this slander out there on the Wi-Fi."
Does not compute. Does not compute.
Welcome
Yeah.
back. Blake.
Welcome back. We were just talking about D'Amico Ryan getting hired by the Houston Texans. How do you feel about that?
Okay.
Bye,
Yep.
Blake.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Good point, Blake. That's a great
Yeah,
point.
that's a
Great point.
solid.
Yeah.
I mean, just excellent investigative journalism there.
Do you
Thank
think Lovie Smith is gonna get hired in the NFL somewhere? Not as a head coach right now, but like maybe go back to defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly possible. What DC spots are still open right now? Do we
For
know?
defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
Are the Hawks hiring a defensive coordinator right now? Didn't they just fire their guy?
You know, I'm not sure, but that would certainly be one spot for sure. I mean, I think that'd be a good spot for a defensive coordinator to go. That's a young team. They have a solid secondary. It's the front seven that obviously I think needs work. But they've got a lot of young talent there in that secondary. Tariq Woolen, candidate for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. So, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jackson. I still can't believe that I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Kobe Bryant, Michael Jackson. They live on the Seahawks.
They've been pretty solid. They've been pretty solid. So I think that would definitely be a worthwhile spot to get hired as a defensive coordinator. I don't know though. I don't know. I did love that Lovie Smith kind of gave like a final FU to the Houston Texans by like going for 2 and winning that game. You know he did that shit on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I love it. Blake, we can't hear you.
Yeah, no, Blake, you are frozen.
Yeah. Do we all
Like
do
that
it with
right
them?
there.
Oh, wait. I got to do the other hand because it's mirrored.
He says he literally has no idea. Speaking of offensive coordinators, though, or just coordinators altogether, Bill O'Brien, speaking of the Texans, Bill O'Brien has now gotten rehired by the New England Patriots.
For what?
Yeah.
Offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator / assistant head coach.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I have so many mixed feelings about this. He ruined the Texans for the next several years to come to this day, right?
More
But that
owner.
being-
The owners
Okay.
let him do it, though. I mean, I think it starts with the owners, and then Bill O'Brien has really fucked him over. But yeah,
100%. The Texans for the longest time, it felt like they were just trying to be the South Patriots, like the Patriots of the South, pretty much, right? I mean, you bring over Bill O'Brien, former Bill Belichick cast off, Jack Easterby, who was at one point the chaplain for the New England Patriots, but somehow works his way all the way up the ranks to where he's like the vice president of football operations there for the Houston Texans. Then they almost get a lawsuit filed against them for tampering with their current GM, Nick Caserio. I think like the last year of his contract that he had there with the Patriots, they were, kind of smooth talking him and whatnot. And the Patriots almost filed a lawsuit against the Texans. They said, hey, my bad, we'll back off. So Patriots dropped it. Well, now he's back over there again. And it just really felt like it was, kind of like the Patriots of the South. But with Bill O'Brien, kind of thinking he could be Bill Belichick, filling that head coaching role, that GM role, and everything in between. And then Jack Easterby just, if you weren't a yes man and Jack Easterby didn't like you, you were somehow out the door. But this is, a chaplain that's now like the second guy in charge of that franchise.
Is Bill O'Brien the only branch from Bill Belichick that's had any success?
No. Wasn't Mike Vrabel part of that coaching tree? I know he was like the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator for the Texans for a while, but I thought he somehow like
was
a
involved
branch
with.
off of that tree.
I'd be curious because it just seems like all the guys who like have success under Belichick, they go off and then they just are like trash.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like they work under his thumb, with him controlling the reins, but you let them go free range and they're just like nothing like they are under the Patriots.
Yeah. I mean,
never a coach for New England.
And Tom Brady might be the factor in all that too.
That's true.
He might make stars.
I know that. I think I thought that because I know Bill O'Brien comes from that coaching tree, and I forget what he was, but he was either a coordinator or some type of coach for the Texans. Mike Vrabel was for the Texans at one point in his career.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually got the head coaching job over there in Tennessee. So I'll say this much about.
Sorry. Vrabel started coaching at Ohio State as linebackers coach 2011. Then went to Houston, 2014 linebackers coach, 2017 defensive coordinator, and then 2018 was head coach of Tennessee.
Okay, so he's never been with the Patriots.
Not as a coach.
Okay,
no. So he was I guess kind of like a grandson of the Bill Belichick coaching tree, if you will, because obviously Bill O'Brien worked under Bill O'Brien, got his job there in Tennessee with the Titans. But I'll say this much about the Bill O'Brien hire there with the New England Patriots. I think that it's definitely an improvement. I mean, you had Matt Patricia as your offensive coordinator, who'd never been an offensive coordinator before, never called plays, and Joe Judge as your special teams coach.
Matt Patricia was an offensive coordinator?
He was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots this past year.
For the Patriots, yeah.
And when he used to be a defensive coordinator for the Patriots?
Yep. And then he was, for a short stretch of time, he was the head coach of the Lions, and they were piss awful.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize when he came back that he switched roles there.
Yeah. He was a defensive coordinator at one point. And somehow got the reins to call the shots on offense. So that didn't work out. I mean, I think in that regard, Bill O'Brien, he's been an offensive coordinator before. He had marginal success as a head coach. I think that his ego got in the way of him. I think that he has a good offensive mind. He just has too big of an ego. I honestly think that that's what the problem with him is. But that being said, he's not the top dog there, and I don't think he's going to try to challenge Bill Belichick for that spot. Although I don't know, Bill's getting up there in age, so I guess that the jury's still out on that. But at least Mac Jones will now have a real offensive coordinator calling the shots there.
So, in terms of having a head coach GM, one of the time that's been successful, because it seemed like that was a little more popular. Because I remember, at least with the Seahawks, Mike Holmgren was the GM and head coach. And I think it was pretty common for a while, and then it kind of fell out of popularity. Is there like
the only one that I can think of is Bill Belichick?
Yeah,
Bill Belichick's not. Is he the GM?
No,
as far as I understand, yeah.
I don't think he's the GM.
I think that's Robert Kraft.
No, Robert Kraft.
Robert Kraft's the owner.
Blake, you're back.
I'm back. Sweet. Apparently
Hey,
it took
buddy.
me pulling up my phone and getting on the Wi-Fi on my phone too. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How do you feel about the Bill O'Brien Patriots hire?
I think everyone forgets how dominant the Alabama offenses were when Bill O'Brien was the offensive coordinator there.
Yeah. Belichick is the GM. He has been since 2000.
He is. Damn. My phone stopped working, so I got to turn it off and on again because it's old.
Wasn't he the head coach of Penn State too? Bill O'Brien.
Yes, he was.
Bill O'Brien.
Yep.
Yeah.
He went from if I do remember correctly, he was the offensive coordinator to Alabama, assistant head coach, and then took the head coaching job at Penn State.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, he was Patriots offensive coordinator, then went to Penn State.
Oh, is that what it was?
Okay.
For 2 years, be the head coach. Went back, and then went to Houston.
Keith, a
And
little sidetrack from what we're talking about here. I wanted to ask you before but my internet wasn't working. What hat are you wearing?
Oh, this is the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes.
Oh,
It's our local
hold on a
team.
minute. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna
Goodbye.
guess Danny also has a Springfield Lucky Shoes hat.
I bet he has a AAA team. I should have went and got my Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp hat.
I'm still waiting for you to order that big ass shrimp.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm just saying that'd be content. We'd probably
It
gain
would.
followers.
It
But
most
look at this
definitely
drunk
would.
asshole wearing a giant shrimp head. What hat is that, Danny?
This is my Springfield baseball hat. This Champion City Kings.
Nice.
Oh.
Hell yeah, buddy. Let's go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The bat is a French fry.
That's badass. Mine's
Nice.
right here. That's the logo. Champion City Kings. Champion City's the nickname for Springfield in Ohio. So that's why
the
we
horseshoe
get the Champion
is a
City.
Springfield, Illinois delicacy. It's
What's that?
Texas. The horseshoe is a Springfield delicacy.
Oh.
Springfield, Illinois delicacy. It's Texas toast, meat of your choice, French fries covered in cheese sauce.
Nice.
Damn, dude.
Also known as a walking heart attack.
Also, why I'm fat.
Midwest.
Mine's
LLC.
nothing special. It's just American flag because America.
So is that like AAA, single A?
It's a prospect league.
Okay.
Bunch of college kids using wooden bats.
That's basically what this is. It's a city league, but it's actually pretty cool because it's about the size of totally getting sidetracked here. It's about the size of like a single A team in one state.
Yeah.
It's like way bigger than a high school, but like an actual stadium, like with like concession to cover and all that stuff. Like, fuck yeah, dude. And it's just here in the city. And then the single A team is like as big as like the Seattle or the Tacoma Rainiers AAA team. The huge ass stadium for their single A. So
That's pretty cool.
Pretty fun. Anyway, sorry to get sidetracked, guys. I just was curious
All
about
good.
that looked pretty cool.
You know how this show goes. We don't follow a script. We just wherever the wind takes us. So how about Sean Payton going to Denver?
Yeah. Do you guys talk about that?
No, not yet. This is do or die for Russ. I think that this is going to be good for him in that, you hear a lot about how Russ really kind of maintains like an attitude like of being a celebrity and stuff like that. Like has to have his own parking spot, right up there next
Sean
to the
Payton's
stadium
not
and
gonna
stuff
put
like
up
that.
with that shit.
Hell no.
Yeah, you have to go through his
He's-
agent to talk about his parking spot.
He is going to have that dude like he starts throwing interceptions and shit like that. I guarantee you that Sean Payton is going to have his ass running laps.
I
agree.
hope so, dude.
I'm
hope so.
gonna rewatch that. What's that Netflix movie with Sean Payton?
Oh, with
Kevin James.
Kevin
Yeah,
James.
Kevin James. Yeah.
Easily one of the best movies on Netflix.
It's a good
Hometown
it's good.
or Home Team, something like that.
And there hasn't been a good like family sports movie in a while.
Home team.
Oh, I was right.
No, that's not true. American Underdog, the Kurt
I
Warner
still
movie.
have not seen that.
Kurt Warner movie. That's
Yeah,
I've never even heard of that.
it's called American Underdog. It's actually a really good
Literally
movie.
breaking Rick's heart.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
No, it's good. It's a good movie. I mean, it's a good movie.
What is that?
pretty
You know what
neat.
services that's on?
I don't off the top of my head. We went and saw it in theaters. So
Yeah, I want to. I want to
in
watch that.
theaters too.
yeah.
Are you guys gonna go see 80 for Brady? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the
Does
old
Gronk-
ladies going to the game?
Does Gronkowski play?
I think Gronk
Gronk
plays
has-
Gronk.
I thought
Speaking
he
of
was
Gronk,
like-
you see he's doing that kick in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there's like a crazy amount of money wrapped up into that. I think it's like something ridiculous, but like I don't know, $10 million or something like that in prizes.
I didn't realize that was a
Yes.
real thing. I thought that was just a.
That's a real thing.
The real thing.
No, Adam
shit.
Vinatieri's training him.
Yeah, but speaking of ridiculous money, did you see I posted in the group chat earlier that someone like jarred some sand from where Brady posted his video and they listed it on PayPal for $15,500, and the current highest bid is $90,000.
Jesus.
What the hell is
90,000.
wrong with people? But you know what? Kudos, I have to say, kudos to like whoever went and bottled up. God knows how many other people walked through after Tom Brady left.
Yeah,
But-
you go back to the same spot and go get some, like buy airplane ticket, go to where that was, Tampa Bay somewhere, I assume. Probably
Right,
maybe
but
LA.
like it may not even be like his ass may not have been the last thing to touch that sand.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
they're going to pay for it.
Unreal.
kudos to that guy. Like I think like that's right in line with, although maybe even more genius than people that buy Snuggies. It's literally a robe that you wear backwards.
Okay, I got a question though. Do you think something like that the guy who's selling this might just have a bunch of fake accounts that he's raised, like trying to feign interest and like, look, all these guys are interested in it. You better hurry up and buy this as the price keeps going up.
He would have to have a lot of accounts because there are a lot of bids on there.
But I mean, even so, like
maybe.
Hey, props to you, man. Like that's, I think that's a genius move. I think it's kind of a taxation on idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
How stupid can you be? Like literally, how stupid can you be to pay for something like that?
Yeah,
$100,000 for.
And
sand.
I have bought some stupid shit in my life.
But
I'm not doing that.
What's the
You can post Shannon's comment up there. He says, "Hell, go to the park with a bucket and get 10 to 15 jars of sand. How do you prove it's legit?"
Right.
I mean, really, like for all we know, he could have just gotten sand from anywhere and photoshopped himself like holding that little bottle of sand.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Tom Brady's cigarette bud wouldn't be worth that much.
No.
And
Did you see the meme that was like Brady came out of retirement last year to piss off Giselle so she'd divorce him to play one more year so he could retire and just play golf for the rest of his life?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. A single guy, I'm kind of like, oh, you lost the $1 billion poon there. So
I like how just smoothly you said that. $1 billion poon.
Did you guys know? I guess Brady's got 2 baby mamas. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was. I forget the other lady's
one
name.
besides Giselle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
He has
2
one-
besides Giselle.
No,
Like
one.
like Giselle
Yeah.
and one other.
Yeah. His like he was married to her back in the day, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's a brunette gal. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But yeah, he has one son with her.
Kamel.
Okay. But anyway, he has one son with her, and then the rest of his kids through Giselle.
I did not know
Didn't get
that
that
until
joke.
someone posted something the other day.
Yeah.
Okay, never
Bridget
mind.
Monahan.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
not Kamel.
No,
So
not
Giselle.
Kamel.
What is a higher
That's a stupid
value,
joke, forget
Tom
it.
Brady retirements or
I
Aaron
got
Rodgers
it.
rings?
You got. Or what?
Oh.
Time out. You said Aaron Rodgers rings. He's got one.
What are you? Tom?
Huh?
Oh. He's
Motherfucker.
fading out. Oh,
You're a motherfucker.
got
What?
that in there. But yeah, you're frozen right now, Blake. So I think what he's getting at is what's worth more, like stuff from Tom Brady retiring or that one ring or anything of the like from that one ring that Aaron Rodgers won.
You know what? Okay, jump in here because scarcity adds value. Right. I know
Well,
I'm kind of ripping
certainly.
on it a little bit, but I'm actually being somewhat I'm being somewhat genuine here because I would bet that say like Tom Brady's 3rd ring would garner less money than Aaron Rodgers' 1 Super Bowl ring. Because I think there are much more people trying to get the 1 ring versus the other one. There's 5 other ones or 6, right?
I don't know. That's tough though
But
because
it's also Tom Brady.
Right. That's exactly. Like, by the same token, like, I bet you would get more money off of an Eli Manning Super Bowl ring than, I don't know. Like, what is that guy? The backup. Who was Tom Brady's backup when they won the Super Bowl there? Blaine Gabbert. If you got a Blaine Gabbert Super Bowl ring from when the Bucks won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, I'd be willing to bet that his one ring is not as valuable as one of Eli Manning's rings.
Right. But we're talking quarterbacks though. You know, not
Blaine Gabbert's a quarterback.
There's, I think the towel boy gets a ring technically. I'm not sure. You know, and I don't think that's going to be as valuable. The player attached to the ring obviously adds way more value. But I'm just in terms of, you know, Aaron Rodgers, you know, Green Bay, because I think Green Bay is probably I'm probably wrong, but I feel like Green Bay, like the second most popular team, like in the NFL besides the Cowboys. Might not be true. I just feel like it.
I feel like you're right on the money there. And that's not me being a bandwagon. That's not me being a Packers fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't live in Wisconsin, not in the middle. Like everywhere, I feel like I do see a lot of Seahawk people now. Like that seems to be, you know, they're like one of the top 5 teams. But I feel like everywhere I go, I'll always see Green Bay fans.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm curious. I know they just recently got started. I don't know if it's like completely finished yet, but I've been seeing some rumblings. I know there's a lot of changes to the Pro Bowl this year.
Derek Carr.
Yeah. The comment there, Derek Carr, he's, you know, leaving Vegas. So I haven't had a chance to watch it. Have they actually had like any of the like the actual events for the Pro Bowl? You know, as far as like skills competitions or anything like that?
Is that what they're going to start?
We had a whole conversation of this on Tuesday because I said I wouldn't watch any of it. And he made me say why I wasn't going to watch any of it. I think the whole thing is dumb and stupid. And the skills competition was last night.
Okay.
So I didn't watch it. I stuck to my word. I didn't watch it. But from what I understand is Derek Carr won the whole thing for the AFC because he just
very cool.
he went lights out with his part of the competition.
Kind of a final FU to Las Vegas.
And then he said, "No, I've never been this." Then the reporter asked, "Have you ever been this hot in Vegas?" And he said, "No, probably why I'm leaving."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't it probably why I'm playing for another team next year?
Probably.
Oh, and I'm back apparently. Sweet.
Yeah.
Fuck
Hey,
you,
I can hear you,
back.
Blake. What's up, man?
Like
Your neighbor fixed your internet.
All right, no more from you. Just kidding. We were having fun. Just kidding.
Jeez.
Yeah, ruin the fun.
So, Keith, what was your favorite event last night?
I have no fucking clue. I didn't watch.
I mean, honestly, like I don't mind the skills competition because I do find that stuff entertaining.
But it's not like football skills. It's like longest drive.
Oh,
like
sure.
It's
or like, you
random
know,
skills.
Throwing a football at like a moving target, you know, or like just goofy shit.
Do the
That's what
competition?
Playing dodgeball.
Yeah,
Do the kickers have a competition?
I believe so. Yes.
I think that'd be kind of entertaining. See, like just incrementally, like moving it further and further back to see who has the furthest kick.
Justin Tucker.
Yeah, like it'd be like a home run derby. You just go further and further back. That'd be kind of fun.
Gronk.
I didn't watch the last play tic-tac-toe with the
He may not be
uprights.
the most accurate.
Yeah.
I do think
bet
the
you
next
somebody
ball
kick it
game
far.
on Sunday will be interesting, though.
The flag game.
See, that's I guess where I'm kind of like I'm out. Like I'm not interested.
But I don't think you watch it for the football, right? Like you watch it to like for the personalities because these guys are going to be like mic'd up. It's going to be like, you know how like the XFL has like all access, like that's what it's going to be like. So we're going to be able to hear them talking shit, goofing around, like having fun, you know, being people.
Okay. If they do something like football, which it's already planned out, but I say next year, if they want to do flag football again, they got to bring veterans, people who've retired, and bring them back in.
Yeah, that'd be
I
fun.
think that would be
that
fun.
would be
Like
sick.
Tiki Barber, Marshawn Lynch, some of these guys are still, they're not, you know, old, guys and walkers stuff. Just retired a few years out of retirement, bring in and mix them in. I think that would be a blast.
Do like a legends
be
versus
cool.
leaders or something.
Yeah,
go to the Big Ten, but
mix them in, like sprinkle them in on both sides of the ball. Like so they're on both teams. Yeah, I think something like that. If we're just gonna do flag football,
I would watch that. I would definitely watch that.
Now, do you think you'd be more so? They're just doing like NFC, right? Do you think you'd be more inclined to watch it if they were like, hey, kind of how I think it's what hockey does, where they go like the condensed version, like they go 3-on-3 or something. They got like 4 different teams. Do you think you'd watch it if you said, hey, we're going to take 4 captains and you're going to draft 4 teams at the Pro Bowl, and you could have an AFC, NFC, like it could be anybody, and it's just more like that. You think you'd be more inclined to watch it then, or do you like the NFC, AFC?
A tournament would be kind of interesting. Like if it's like, hey, each game's 20 minutes or whatever. It's flag football. There's say 8 teams. 8 might be like way too many, but if it's condensed, like it's like 5-on-5 or something. Maybe that's a little better. They play defense and offense. That could be kind of fun. What's that?
7-on-7 would be better because that's kind of what high schools did.
Yeah.
Okay. So 7-on-7, maybe. 8 teams still probably way too many. So say 4. I think that would be
not really though. If you think about it though, Danny, right? This is what a 3-hour. We're talking about a 3 hour. So if you do a 20-minute game, that's 4 games in the first round. That's an hour and 20 minutes, right?
Good point.
Then
I was just talking about
finals. That's 2 hours, so you're under 2.5 hours.
But do you have enough people? You probably have enough people because you got backups and stuff that are that are that go to the Pro Bowl, right? And they there's even if you're voted into the game, yeah. See, we should already doing better than the NFL right now.
I just think it would be more interesting to watch.
My idea that I think it would be kind of cool is if they did like, instead of just AFC versus NFC or whatever, why not kind of like you said, make it like a little 4-team tournament style or whatever, but position groups. So like wide receivers versus running backs, or like something like that from like both conferences. Like that might be kind of cool.
Maybe they should just a ridiculous rule.
I liked Keith's idea. He said back in the group chat a while ago. All week 10 games.
What?
Scrap all week 10 games. Play the Pro Bowl right then and there, just like every other fucking major league sport does. Give one that week for those that make the Pro Bowl, and still keep it like I said. I'm not watching this expecting good football. I'm watching it for the content, right? Like seeing the one-liners and like could you imagine Travis Kelce in this game? Like we're not going to see it, right? Because he's in the Super Bowl, but like his personality, like those personalities are going to get to come out, and we'll be able to see that side. But I think that'll be interesting to me. So that's why I'll watch it.
I just feel like they're at this point they're committed to not like really playing hard like they did, years ago, where in the Pro Bowl they fucking went at it, and now they got way. It's at the end. It's even you think about it because if it's week 10, they still got the actual rest of the season to think about. So I don't think the quality better, and even at the the Pro Bowl game now, there's no season left, and they're still worried about injuring themselves for the next year coming. So I feel like if you are going to commit to the flag football, which is already a ridiculous idea, I think adding we talked about like a 20-minute game tournament style, I think would be I think that'd be a blast. Make the field half the field. I don't know, like a 50-yard field, like arena football. I think that'd be cool. Bring in veterans, all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm excited to watch it. We'll revisit this on Tuesday on the show, and then on Friday we'll have our Super Bowl show. So we'll talk about favorite ads of all time, random Super Bowl facts, all that fun shit. Guys, don't forget.
A chance. Oh, sorry. I was going to say there's a chance we may be able to. I got to talk to him, but former multimedia director of the Jacksonville Sharks of the National Arena League, who is actually now an audio visual specialist for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Nice.
Might be coming on the show. He actually is the one that gave me the chance last year whenever I got to go shadow the Jacksonville Sharks up in the broadcast booth. He's
Nice.
he might be able to come on next Friday, so I got to talk to him. But
Yeah, lock that down. So we'll have some more
Yeah.
NFL stuff to talk before the Super Bowl. Like I
Love
said,
it.
we will talk about Pro Bowl stuff on Tuesday and more Super Bowl stuff on Friday. Big thank you to Adam Smalls of Team Smalls Robot or Team Small Robot. I can't remember what it off the top of
Team
my head.
Banshee too.
Team
That's-
Banshee.
We're
we
all
appreciate
Team
you.
Banshee this year.
We are Team Banshee. Don't forget, they are live, or I guess not live, but they are on Discovery Channel next Thursday at 9 Central.
I don't.
We'll confirm that
know
on
what-
and let you know on Tuesday. So make sure you stop
Yeah.
into Tuesday's show so you can confirm that. Guys, be a friend, tell a friend, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you on Tuesday. Boys,
peace.
appreciate y'all.